Hey, what's up everybody? Prospector here with Watcher Realms. Today we'll be talking about whether or not you should summon Beelzebub. Now for some of you this might be a hot take, so stick around and find out why. Anyways, without further ado, let's dig in. I'd like to introduce you to the third-party payment platform called Smile1. They always offer a 10% discount on purchases in the game. For a limited time, they are doing a top-up rebate event between January 17th and February 3rd. This means that when you use Smile1 to purchase W Gold, you're going to get free items along with your purchase. I'm going to pop those rewards on the screen right now for you up here. And as you can see, the more you purchase, the more you get. Now, I'm not huge on asking people to spend, but if you are going to spend, you might as well use Smile1. I'd like to ask if you do like this channel and you like to support this channel, I do have an exclusive link that you can use to go and make your purchases. And when you use that link, it'll give me revenue share coming back to me to help support the channel. Now, to use that link, all you have to do is go down to the description in this video or any of my videos here on YouTube, and you can just click here on Smile1. It's going to bring you to a website, and you're going to enter your user ID, your server ID, select the amount that you'd wish to spend, select your payment option, enter your zip code, and click buy now and continue on with the payment process. And that's all there really is to it. Thank you for supporting the channel, and let's get back to the video. Okay, so we have Beelzebub here, and Beelzebub is an amazing hero. I know that with my testing video from yesterday, I did only test him in Guild Boss 1, but I assure you that I found the optimal placement for him for getting the most damage out of that team, okay? I did try having him in a different position, facing right, and it couldn't come nowhere near those kind of scores. Without Laurel cycling in there, you just don't need 6 fighters on your squad in Guild Boss 1. A lot of those guys are hard to come by, but if you do have them, he can be very useful for running with that kind of team. It's not as if he can't help you out with that. But I do not believe that this is going to be a meta-changing hero as far as Guild Boss 1 goes. There is some very interesting comps that are going to unlock with this range that Mr. Beelzebub does have. He has a very, very wide or long range of inspiration. He's also bringing in other debuffs as well and buff to the team. He's going to be able to buff your summons. He's going to increase their attack rate or decrease their attack interval. He's going to be bringing slows on his talent tier, which is a 50% slow. I really wish this was a 75% slow. It'd be a little more useful, but that is not all. He's also going to be bringing the magic damage vulnerability, which is going to be 20% at awakened level 1, and at awakened level 0 it's just going to be a 10% magic vulnerability. Now, my problem with a lot of these things is they're all mid. We're going for a mid-tier slow. We're going for a mid-level vulnerability, which if you just bring your Volca, or if you're early on, you could just bring a Mari, which is another epic. That being said, he's kind of like an all-in-one mid-tier unit in all of these different things, right? So he's a great unit. He's very versatile. I actually like his kit. As far as his damage goes, it's not really all that impressive. I'm not too crazy about his damage, even as from an AoE standard, but you can do a few things, and I'm going to show you right now in this video a few cool things that you can do. First off, with your Dungeon 1, there is a slight opportunity. I'm not really sure if it's going to play into anything too great, but you definitely can get inspiration on your units on the low end and on these bottom 2 tiles here. So he's going to be bringing out inspiration right here and right here. Now, what heroes you're going to put there to make any kind of difference is to left up in the air. You know, I'm not really sure what you'd be planning on using there. Typically, the go-to meta team is going to be Comet or Vienna down here. Possibly Greed over here in a really fast speed build with a lot of rage regen, just doing a lot of slows and whatever. But typically you're gonna have yourself Ares or Valkyra up here facing left, and he's not going to really be able to reach them. So it's debatable if we can find out a better placement for him anyways, or the best comp in order to help him with Gear Dungeon 1. But he can do anything that pretty much Dolores is going to be doing as far as inspiration. It's just not going to be as high or as often. Okay, now there is some other options as well. I want to show different ways you can set him up in Guild Boss 1, just to make sure that we are clear that I understand what is going on here, and you know, nobody's kind of like trying to snuff the hero in any kind of way or snub the hero. I don't think that Beelzebub is terrible. I don't think that Beelzebub is bad. I think Beelzebub is mid plus. That's what I think. I think it's an S tier hero, but it's just not going into that triple S category for me, in my opinion. Okay, so Guild Boss. If we go over to the Guild Boss here, we can jump into the fight. We'll just take it down to normal so I can show case kind of what's going on here. We're gonna jump into the fight here, and there's the placement that I used, okay, which was whatever. I don't even know what team I have on here, but the placement I used was putting him right here, okay, facing up. He covered Kagiri, he covered Sun Wukong, he covered Hex, he covered Silas, he covered everybody on the team, and I believe surely that I have maximized the ability of the team that we were using on Guild Boss 1. Now, is there going to be a better comp? Maybe. I don't think that using 6 fighters is going to bring up your score in any kind of way. You're not going to be able to cycle their rage fast enough. You're not going to be able to cycle his rage fast enough. You're not going to be able to keep them all healed generously with a Eloin. You're going to be running with a Hollow, which is fine. But at the same time, if you have a lot of fighters, you can use this, okay? You can use this, you surely can. But there's not enough room on the team in order to run all these platform units and all these fighters and then run efficiently with all their builds and all of the like laurel cycling or whatever kind of setup you want to be using. Now there is other options as well. You can also place Beelzebub over here and have your Dolores up in that same square where she usually goes, which is right over here. Okay, so this is another option. You place Beelzebub on the bottom, you put your Dolores here, you do your normal rage cycling. That's fine. But if you place them over on the left, you cut out that bottom tile, and then you remove the crazy damage coming from the #1 DPS on Guild Boss 1 in the game, and that is Hex. You're going to remove him from that position, and he's going to come down here, or from here is where he's going to get his maximum damage with Araka. It's the maximum range that he can be away from the guild boss. He's not going to get that maximum damage here. I've tested this, his damage goes up being in the bottom part of this guild boss fight. Now, as I said, you can put him here, and you can put like a whole, crap ton of fighters down here if you chose to, but you have to keep in mind that other limitations are going to come into play when you do so. So you got all your fighters down here. I mean, they're not really placed in the right positions, but okay, so we got 6 ground tile units here. Sure, they're all in inspiration. That's fine and dandy. You could put out a healer. You could probably bring in Hollow. Would probably be a better option to keep them all alive. But it's kind of like one of those, who cares? Like I said, I don't dislike the hero. If I wanted to do this and have this many fighters down on the ground, I would just bring Constance, honestly. I'm not going to invest in Beelzebub all the way up to Awaken level 3. Spend like $1 grand worth of summonings to try to get this hero to Awaken 3 just to keep up with Constance or just to keep up with Dolores, okay? But here's the thing. I do think you want a copy of this hero, right? Because we're not done yet. There's other things that are going to be going on. I think in early to mid game, Beelzebub can be game changing. For this reason, using a 6 fighter comp or 4 to 6 fighter comp with some ranged units on the sides, just because of limitation of whatever heroes you might have on your account. But there's also the ability to use them and kind of some cool comps in Gear Raid 1 as well. So let's go check out Gear Raid 1. I'm going to show you some placements. Doesn't matter what stage we're on. Just want to get his butt on the field. Where you at, Bubba? All right, here he is. We're gonna get, I think I got a healer with, I hope I got a healer with. Anyways, so you have the options here where you could put your, let's see, DPS down here. You could put your, well, you don't need Dolores anymore. So you could put Bubba right here. You could take your anti-heal and put it over here. Pretend this is an anti-heal. And then you could put another DPS over here. And Bubba will have them all in range. You're going to have your Boreas or Comet or whatever within range. You can cycle with Laurel on the side here. And then these guys over here, they're going to get the inspiration and the special effects coming out of his kit. If you have a Nora over there, she doesn't get inspiration, but her little pet Laborer is going to get the extra buff from the summons boost. So it'll be 30% faster with its attacks. You know, there's really cool options. You're probably gonna want to run a full cultist team or Gear Raid 1, and it's going to be very helpful for you if you're struggling with Gear Raid 1. Now, as I said, you could just come over here and cycle your Laurel in and out, and you wouldn't really have to worry about too much. Now, as far as his damage goes, it's nothing. I mean, honestly, it's not going to help you with much, but he's going to be putting out some slows, and that will help out the cultist team doing more damage, right? So he's going to be coming in, putting all these debuffs. You can see all the effects going on right now. You see when his ult's going, he does pull the units around, and this is kind of going to be my concern for GVG, and I'll explain that in just a minute. When his ult activates, it's going to be hard to control. He may pull them past your defenders, okay? So depending on where you put him, you may pull the heroes or enemies into past your defenders and cause an issue for your lineup on GVG. I'm not certain. I can't really test that here on the test server, but he does have this really weird thing. So he pulls 10 nearby enemies towards its center with 2 times strength and inflicts slow on them. The slow is great, but it has a vortex effect and it goes to the center. So let's see, we'll activate it now. So he should be pulling them in. Here he comes at pulling them in. If your defender was here in GVG, he may pull them past your defender. I'm not certain, but it's quite the possibility, isn't it? So I don't think he's gonna be shining too much there, but I think Gear Raid 1, he's gonna be phenomenal. But this isn't all. There's much more to this hero than the basic checking inspiration, the buffs that he does for summoners, and the slow effects that comes out of his kit. He has much more going on, right? And it's something really important. Let's get back to his build here. So let's go to Beelzebub. I'm going to ungear the boy. Actually, I want to put this back on Dolores because that's her build and I don't have it saved on the test server here. So I'm going to put that back on Dolores. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to unequip everything. We're just going to quick equip. Now, just with a random quick equip, 110k BP. Then we know what that's important for. I think he beats out Uridan as far as BP goes. This is absolutely insane. Let's go ahead and try to find him a better build that might boost up that BP even higher. Let's see, like a Hex build. No, that's not going to do it. Sun Wukong does it pretty well with the Soulbond Arcana set. Let's go to Sun Wukong's build, and then what I'll do is kind of customize it because I think you got to go with Aegis Wrath to get his BP really high. Sorry, this is a long video. I'm just trying to explain this the best that I can here. Sure, let's just put that on there. I wish I had better Aegis Wrath gear on this test server here, but I don't. I think that's going to be the best piece there. What do we got going on here? Aegis Wrath with Rage Regen. See, I mean, it's not the best stuff. Look at 117.3k. We're still in a broken set. Well, let's see here. I'm not really sure if Rage... Well, Rage is probably going to do better than defense percentage, I'm sure. So let's go... Well, I guess it shows me right there, yeah. This is going to be the best piece here. And then on this side, this is going to be some pretty solid gear. So we're sitting at 117.9k. Just with obviously not the most optimal gear. I did talk to Destin a little bit. He actually did say that he was able to pop like 130k BP just optimizing his gear, which is absolute madness. He's crazy. Like, that is some crazy BP. Now, what awakenings do you need to try for if you are going to go for Beelzebub? I'm not slamming the hero. That's not what's going on here. I know there's a lot of huge fans of Beelzebub, and you are fine. Just love your hero and do what you need to do. But my opinion is my opinion, and I definitely have a right to have that opinion. You guys can do as you please. I'm just trying to show you some things and advise you the best I can. But anyways, the hero needs awakenings. Alright, so in awakening level 1, the vulnerability of magic damage inflicted by Plague of Ruin increases to 20%. He's going to get that added 10% magic vulnerability down on whatever he's attacking. Now this is pretty cool. Some of my issues with it is that a lot of the magic damage dealers are infernal teams. Something like Zillitu, Twin Fiend, and all these guys, if they're going under Infernal Lord, those guys put up magic vulnerabilities at a really high rate anyways, but he'll keep it up for most of the fight. So that's kind of a positive kind of note there. That being said, you do want to get this Awakening 1 so you can get this vulnerability up as high as you can to help out whatever magic damage dealers you're working with, especially for Gear Raid 1 or Gear Dungeon, things like that. Now, Awaken level 2 is attack plus 300. If you haven't noticed, this boy has some seriously low attack. His base attack is 2607 here. This is really, really bad. Like, even Silas is sitting at 4k attack. We have Hex at 4100. He's a marksman. This is a mage. Let's go check out other mages like the swords. So see, we have Comet sitting at 4800. We have Twin Fiend at 4400. We have our boy Nocturne at 4867. Vierna at 4300. I mean, he's being definitely beat up by almost every single platform unit that does damage. So let's go over to look at his attack versus Dolores, right? Because she's gonna be a different competitor in whatever you're using him for. 2662. Okay, 2662. What was his again? I think we were sitting at 2607. Not cool. It's not cool. And this is with the A2 unlocked, so he's getting that extra attack from the A2 on his base, and that does show up right there on the base attack. 2607. His inspiration is also roughly, I think, 10% lower than Dolores's as well. It's like, I just don't like it, okay? Anyways, Awaken level 3, when basic attack deals damage to the target, restores 2% rage. This is key in order for him to even compete when it comes to inspiration. Alright, he's not going to compete if he doesn't have this Awaken level 3. If you don't have the Awaken level 3, whenever you go to do something besides possibly Gear Raid 1, I would suggest that you bring your Dolores. All she needs is A5. She's an epic. You get soul stones all over the place, and you just need to pull the Dolores, right? Technically, Dolores is way easier to pull than Beelzebub. So here we are looking at the kit, and I'm saying that the Dolores is going to be easier to get and for the most part outperform Beelzebub. That doesn't make him bad. It just makes him more difficult to achieve, to match her or beat her in anything. We're talking about a legendary here. We're talking about massive amount of awakenings. If you were to pull at Pity to get to Awaken level 3, you need 800 summons. Let that sink in for a moment. You need 800 summons minimum to get yourself to Awaken level 3 with Beelzebub and start to compete with Dolores. I don't care if he's opening up different team comps. You know, I don't care if anything else is going crazy or going on crazy with him as far as how you can use them. I'm not seeing it personally. You could obviously put down suggestions in the comments. I'm happy to see them. I like the suggestions. Try to keep it peaceful, not hostile though. But anyways, we're gonna move on to the Awaken level 4. Cost -2. So this is gonna start at Awaken level 4. He's gonna start becoming much more viable in Arena. How viable? It's hard to say. It really is. His range is gonna be really cool for this. It's gonna be bringing the slows. He's gonna be bringing the inspiration. He's going to be helping summons, which is going to be very useful to help Xeris along and doing some extra damage, even though you have to try to cycle him out at some point and cycle him back in to get the damage rolling again, because his summons get less and less each time he uses ult on the field. But nevertheless, it's going to be kind of cool to figure out some teams with Arena and Beelzebub. Now, Awaken level 5. If the target receives 2 instances of Plague of Ruin within 3 seconds, they will take 1 additional instance of true damage equal to 100% of the hero's attack. Okay, so receives 2 instances of Plague of Ruin, he's going to be doing more damage. Yeah, okay. More damage on what? Compared to his 20 million? Like, this isn't going to raise anything too crazy. His Awakening 5 is just... not really there. I don't care. He's not there for damage. He will do a little bit of damage, kind of help you out. But if you're struggling with something like Gear Raid 1, you're not going to A5 Beelzebub. Period. You're not going to be going there. If you have Soul Stones, I would never suggest you ever put one into Beelzebub unless you're just willing to throw Soul Stones away and you want to play with the hero. Then you could put it there. And I would still only suggest it if you were at A2 trying to unlock that A3. Okay, so this is where I'm at with Beelzebub. Now, I just want to kind of reiterate and kind of backtrack a little bit, right? I said a lot of things that may have seemed negative about the hero, right? But there's a lot of things that are positive about the hero that I mentioned as well. You have to look at it from a multi-view to figure out, is the hero worth it on your account? I think it is. I think it's worth it on everybody's account. For one, if you're in the end game, I think you're going to want Beelzebub, probably a few copies, because you're going to want to push that BP high and you're going to want to use it in GVG. Number 2, if you're early to mid game, he's going to help you in the Gear Raid 1. He's going to help you in Gear Dungeon, possibly. He's going to help you in Guild Boss if you're struggling having, you know, a lot of ranged units or the meta team. You might not have the meta team, so you got to work with what you got. And there's a possibility that he might line up better than Dolores for you. So that's going to be an option as well. But you're not going to probably get to the Awaken level 3 to make him better than Dolores. So it's kind of a wishy-wash kind of situation. Number 3, hero collectors. Some of us just like to have the hero. And I think that he's a really cool hero. He's really cool looking. He has some really cool stuff in his kit. He's versatile. You could build him up for just being a slow unit. Kind of a mixed combo with inspiration. You could build him up for doing a little bit of AoE damage off to the side, or maybe just kind of help supplement some damage in Gear Raid 1 like I said. Or you could just build him up to be a straight inspiration unit for when you need an extra one, or if you need one that reaches a long distance. There's quite a few possibilities. You know, he's going to help you in a lot of situations. But so the hero's not bad. And my answer to should you summon for Beelzebub is most undoubtedly yes. Now, you might have a question is, should you summon for him like mad crazy? Only if you're trying to push BP, because if you're trying to break records in any kind of content, I just don't see it happening. I don't think he's going to have much of a place in Guild Boss 2. He could probably go on a APOC 1 team for you if you didn't have constants. Maybe kind of supplement some things in APOC 2 if you don't have constants. But he has a major issue as well. So if we go to his hero details here and max out these stats, this HP is extremely low. And not only is that HP low, so is that defense. He's going to be squishy. So you're going to have a hard time keeping him alive, okay? It's not like it's going to be a super easy job. But if you can manage, alright, he's going to bring you inspiration. He's going to bring you some magic vulnerabilities. He's going to bring you all kinds of things. And you can actually pair him pretty well into a Guild Boss team. I have tested him. He does not make it to the 400k in any team, even with Carnelian on there. He tends to just get smoked by early small hits. So the hits in between or whatever, his HP and defense is so low that he just gets smacked and he ends up losing his essences way early on compared to the rest of the heroes. And if you're going to build up for anything else, like trying to put more HP on him, you might as well just run something else, right? I did have to do the same thing with Dolores if I was going to push her that far. You have to build up her defenses and then kind of build up her attack on the side, and you lose a little inspiration. Okay, so we do know he's going to be good in a lot of things. And yes, my answer is pull. Definitely pull for Beelzebub. Just because I'm not super impressed by a hero doesn't mean I'm saying he's crap, okay? Pull for Beelzebub. I do think that you should pull for him. Now, you have to keep in mind, in the future, we have Valentine's events coming up, and there's going to be probably an exclusive. I don't know if it's going to be a new one. I've heard rumors that it's going to be a new exclusive. I am not sure, but you might want to consider not pulling if you want to try to save as much as you can for the next limited exclusive hero. That's entirely up to you. But if you're a hero collector and you want, you know, good heroes, Beelzebub's definitely a good one. You should probably try to get a copy of him at least, okay? He's gonna be pretty important, and we'll probably figure out some really cool comps in the future. I don't doubt that. Alright, so he's not the only one on the banner. We also have ourselves Zillitu. And Zillitu, at one point in time, if somebody would have pulled a Zillitu, they'd be livid. Zillitu is amazing. So if you do try to go for Beelzebub and you pull yourself a copy of Zillitu, congratulations. You should be happy. This hero is still top. She's an awesome, awesome fighter, but it is like a Guild Boss 1 specific niche kind of hero. She does do really good in faction trials. She's amazing at a lot of things. She's very, very good unit. And I would say if she was just the one on the banner, I would still say, yeah, I think you should pick up a copy of her if you don't have one, because she's an amazing unit. So that's 2 good reasons to be pulling this weekend. I definitely think that you should pull. All right, but anyways, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful and as informative as I could make it. I am trying not to be controversial, but my opinion is my opinion. You can either follow it or ignore it and use somebody else's opinion if you want to use theirs. That's up to you. But I'm going to stand my ground and I say Beelzebub is mid to high tier hero. The hero is definitely not going to be in triple S category, in my opinion. That's just bottom line, and that's where I stand with it, and that's where I'm going to keep it. But with that all being said, good luck with your summons if you decide to go for Beelzebub. I do hope you get a copy. I will be going for at least 1 legendary to see if I can pull a copy of Beelzebub myself. Anyway, that's all I got. Good luck. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep digging.